And today we have another candidate forum. It's the two guys who want to be the St. Cloud City Council member for Ward 3. We have Paul Brandmire here and John Libert. And in the first segment, John, who is the incumbent, you had talked about how you want to run for city council for another term because there's still things you want to get done. Be specific on what things you would like to check off your list before you retire someday in the future.
Well, a lot of it has to do with the boards I'm on. I'm on the Economic Development Board. I've been on that since the start of it. We're getting to the point where we're getting really close to getting some big things happening here. But we need direction for the city. We need images, and we're working on that. It's a slow process. It's a marathon. It's not a 100-yard dash. So it's going to take some time to get that. I'm also I'm ex officio of the Drug and Gang Task Force. I try to get to do a couple ride-alongs with the police each year. I've done more ride-alongs since I've been on the city council than all the other councils combined, all the other council members combined. I'm proud of that fact because when I go out, I listen to the police officers. I know what's going on, and I'm comfortable with the situation we're in right now. The one situation I'm concerned with the police department is that, and a lot of people don't know their para with their retirement account is changing as of June 1st. So we could have quite a big retirement by June. So we could be losing 6 to 10 officers by June, and I've made sure that we're hiring new officers. It takes about 6 months to get a new officer. We've already hired 3. We're in the process of applications out for more. I'm concerned about that. I'm not panicking or anything because we're on the right track. We're doing that type of stuff. Those are things I get involved with that. I'm on the Visitor and Convention Bureau board. We need lots of publicity in St. Cloud to get these conventions here, to get the sports activities here, because that's millions and millions of dollars for St. Cloud. And again, that's image. A lot of what I get involved with is, as I've been involved with marketing and sales for 40 years, and that's what we're trying to do, is get the image of St. Cloud to get a vibrant, pleasant community, and people wanted to come here.
Mm-hmm. Paul, talk a little bit about what you would, we found out why you're running for city council. Talk a little bit about what you would do then once you got on the city council if you're voted in on Tuesday. What are some of the things that you'd like to start working on right away?
Well, yeah, obviously I haven't had the access that John's got as far as things that the council is actually doing at this point. So I'd also like to get on some of those boards too. I mean, some of the things that I've been involved in the community, even just, as Joe Citizen, I was on the council at the Boy Scouts of America. I was the roundtable commissioner, Cub Scout pack leader, den leader. I started a pack. My church, I was parish council president. I sang in the choir, started a youth choir, did Christmas pageants, things like that. Veterans groups, I was a historian at the American Legion. I ride with the Patriot Guard group. We do veterans funerals and try and keep those, the Westboro Baptist Church and that sort of thing, keep them at bay. Some of the things like that. I do a lot of community events. I was Meals on Wheels coordinator, did arrange volunteers and so forth. Things that I'd like to do on the council, I'd like to continue to serve. I mean, my life has been a life of service my whole life. Like I say, at age 18, joined the military, joined the service, and served in law enforcement and so forth. So I'm very big on that. I'd like to do more with the police as well. That ride along program is pretty cool. I think John's right on that. It's a great opportunity to get out and see the community. I'd like to do more community activities. I'd like to work as a bridge towards these communities we've already spoken of, the refugees or the Somalis. We definitely need. I mean, they're here. They're here. They're citizens, and they're members of the community. We need to get them involved as members of the community. If we're not doing that, then we're not doing it right. And that's part of the problem, is that we've got this group over here and this group over there. And the two are not talking. They're like throwing rocks at each other. We can't do that. We have to bring them together and get them integrated and get them involved and get them feeling like they're welcome, and get our people involved as well as part of that bridge. One of the things that kind of is a thorn in my side is the amount of laws and regulations and so forth. People don't even know. I mean, every citizen of this community, I suspect, is breaking a law every single day, and they don't even know that they're breaking one because they don't even know what's on the books anymore. So I'd like to take a look at some of those and try and eliminate some of these crazy ones, like, you can't, walk your horse down Main Street, or, tie it to a fire hydrant or whatever. These stupid laws that you hear about all the time that people find. Try and get rid of some of those, and then enforce the ones that make sense. But the ones that don't make sense, we need to start getting rid of and taking a look at those and say, who in the world thought that up? That's dumb.
John, I pretty much watch every St. Cloud City Council meeting. It does come up from time to time. Why do we do it that way? Or how come there's an ordinance for this? I mean, there is those discussions happening. Can you talk about it on a broader sense? Is there a way to kind of maybe cut down on red tape at the city council level, at the city level, to make things a little bit more streamlined?
Well, anytime we run into something, we'll take a look at it and say, hey, this is something we've got to look at. But again, if you send the staff and the administration on a searching, you can waste a lot of time looking for a lot of stuff. And, a lot of our staff are very, very busy. But when we run into something, or they bring it to us all the time, say, this has got to change, or this has got to change. This is crazy. This shouldn't be there. We do it all the time. We're always reevaluating things. We did it on Monday's council meeting. We're going to be looking at a couple different scenarios we ran into with signage and things like that. So we're going to streamline that. Laws are important, but stupid laws are crazy. I've learned you have to really do some exploration and finding out what you what you're talking about before you say it. And that comes from good staff and knowing what to ask, and you have to dig into subjects, and and the staff is really the city is about as good as you can get with the staff we've got. We've got excellent staff. We are running really smooth with the staff we've got, and I just don't want to go on a fishing trip for nothing. But if there's something comes along, we jump on it right away and try to fix it. Big
issue we're going to have at the end of next year, of course, is when the Electrolux plant closes here in town. Can we talk a little bit about, is that in Ward 3? The plant itself? It's got to be close to if it's not.
Yes.
So it's right there. So, John, we'll start with you. Talk a little bit about what can be done and what are you hoping to do in the next year before the plant closes to kind of soften the blow a little bit for the city of St. Cloud, because it's going to be a big deal.
I don't know if it's going to be that big of a deal, because we've got Arctic Cat, we've got New Flyer that are chomping at the bit to have new assembly lines, and the workers at Electrolux are factory workers, and they need them, so they're excited. There's going to be jobs available for them. We have Costco coming here. We're going to have 260 jobs there. Arctic Cat and we've been making a lot of inroads on talking to companies and getting prepared, and they are getting prepared. They're going to be expanding and using a lot of that stuff. So it's not going to be a life and death situation or anything like that. It's going to be a little bump in the road, but we're going to handle that. We're going to smooth that bump out really fast.
Yeah, Paul, have you thought about that? Have you talked to folks about that? Are people out there on the streets concerned about Electrolux closing?
Honestly, no. I haven't heard a lot about it. That's not been the feedback that I've been getting. There have been some concerns about the Costco deal and how that all came about. That was one of the areas that kind of got my attention. Excuse me, the cigarette tax, or the cigarette law that they passed, and then Dave Kleiss kind of vetoed, for lack of a better term. I know it wasn't strictly a veto, but those are some of the things. And then the refugee resettlement; those are kind of the biggies. And of course the streets, potholes. Mm-hmm. Who hasn't noticed the potholes, right?
Yeah. So Costco is being built right now. There's no turning back on that. You would have done something differently if you were on the council?
Well, I don't know that I would have done anything different, because I didn't really follow it that closely. And the reason I didn't follow it that closely was simply because I remember when Dave first brought it up, he says, we've got some exciting news, but we can't share it yet because it's still in the process and so forth. And I'm like, that's interesting, and then next thing I know is, okay, we can talk about it now. And by then the cat was out of the bag. Everybody kind of knew it was Costco, and they knew where it was going, but nobody really knew any of the details, but it was already a done deal. Well, it was that bit in between there is where most people are a little annoyed, is that it doesn't seem like that was very forthcoming. It was like, we've got something, and okay, now it's done, but there wasn't any involvement in the planning stages. I know Dave has argued against that and says, well, yeah, we did too. We had listening sessions. Well, I never heard about them. And all the people that I've been speaking to as I walked the neighborhoods and so forth, they all basically said the same thing. We didn't know anything about it. And the fact that it was sold at approximately half of what other people are saying that was offered for that property, well, that's a concern too. Well, why are we selling it at 50% off? Well, the answer we're getting, the official answer is, well, because we already made the deal. Well, okay, but the rumor is that we could have got out of that deal, or maybe leveraged it a little bit and said, well, we've been offered 6, why are you giving us 3 million?
So, John, respond. You're on the city council. Would you have preferred the council had more involvement earlier on in that project? It was handled mostly by the administration, the staff for the city. Would you have preferred, as a council member, to be more involved in the early on and maybe have it gone down differently?
Depending on what you mean by involved, because you get too many fingers in the mix, it just doesn't work, especially with sales. You get people having opinions, city council members having opinions and not have any idea how sales works or anything like that, which probably could have been done a little different. Sure, you can always go back at it, but you look what we got. We've got Costco coming here. We have 260 jobs, starting wages of $14.50 an hour. I'm sure a lot of the competitors in town aren't liking that because they're going to have to raise the wages. I know Sam's Club raised their wage to $1 an hour now, so that probably was effect of that. We've got all the property taxes, we've got sales taxes, and everything coming in for us. So it's going to be a big plus to it. So you look at the positive end of it rather than you have some people that didn't want it. The competitors didn't want it here, and that's what the big hubbub is all about.
Mm-hmm. Are you more upset about where it went or the fact that it even happened at all, Paul?
Oh, no, I don't oppose it at all. No, don't get me wrong. My sister and my mother love Costco. They don't have a Sam's Club in Yakima, Washington, or at least they didn't. They may now, but yeah. So they're big fans of it. One of my sons is a member down in the city. So I've never been in one myself, frankly. But no, I think it's the procedure. It's we don't take this wrong. I mean, we don't have a monarchy. It's citizens' involvement. I'm big on the fact that a citizen needs to be involved in the citizen's government. It's not the government supposed to be ramrodding stuff down our throats. It's our job as citizens to tell our representatives what we want, and then, yes, as John said, it's up to the representatives then to make those decisions. Okay, I got it. But when you make those decisions and the citizenry is ticked off and they're starting to grab their pitchforks and torches, well, maybe you need to take another look at how you're running things. And
wouldn't the city council members be the citizens that are vote? That I mean, you can't have the whole town voting on a Costco.
No, right? Then you'd have a pure democracy, and we don't have that. Yeah. We have a representative republic. I understand that. So yes, I agree with you. But like John just said, it was made. The decisions were made by the administration, and I correct me if I'm wrong, but what I think he just said was something to the effect of, it probably should have been done a little bit differently. In other words, they should have been more involved.
I said it could have been done a little differently.
Okay, coulda, shoulda, woulda. Okay, it could have been done differently, should have been done differently. I guess it's semantics. But the point is, though, is that, yes, the representatives of the citizenry should have been more involved. And as to where it went, maybe that is the best use of the land. I hated to see all those trees get cut down. There's a lot of homeless were living in there, too. Where are they now? That's another issue that needs to be addressed, is why do we have all these homeless, panhandling on every street corner? I'm getting a little tired of that, too. Right. That needs to be handled.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm out of time, but there's a lot to be discussed here. So closing statements from both of you, John. Why should people, when they go to vote on Tuesday, if they haven't voted already, why should they vote for you?
Because I care. I'm on the city council because I care. I follow up. I get into details. I dig in. I get my roll up my sleeves and jump in, and I get things done. My family goes back 160 years in St. Cloud, and I've got some passion here, and I do care, and I listen to. I just don't wait for people to come to me. I go to them and talk to them.
All right. And Paul, why should people vote for you?
Well, I mean, I care as well. I mean, obviously, I've given thousands of hours to this community. As a newcomer, I was delving right into scouting and church activities and so forth, and feeding the hungry and doing homeless drives and marches for life and things like that. My family, the Brandmire family, my grandfather, my dad's dad, was born in 1892. So we've been around here in Minnesota a long time as well. My father, being a Lutheran pastor, took a call at a seminary. He went to St. Paul, Concordia St. Paul, and went down to St. Louis, and then took a call that took him out to the Pacific Northwest. And of course, that's where I was born, as I say, and was raised. But my Minnesota roots run deep. Like I said, I've been here 20 years again already. I love St. Cloud. I chose St. Cloud after living and working around the world. I could have gone anywhere. Literally could have gone anywhere. I've been everywhere. But I chose St. Cloud, and I love it here. I think we have a lot going for us. I love the Lake George and the, summertime by George and the activities and the 4th of July and the Veterans Day and all that. It's a great place to live, and I just want to make it better.
All right. Thank you both for coming in. Paul Brandmire and John Libert are here. They are the two guys running for St. Cloud City Council in Ward 3 on Election Day on Tuesday.